Hello, my name is Devin Young, and I'm taking over the world. I went over this in yesterday's video. My whole plan, what that means, why I'm doing it. I'm going to keep talking about it because yesterday's video, we live in a fractal universe, so yesterday's video is the first video in this series contains the entirety of the series, just as the first YouTube video I ever made contains the entirety of every other YouTube video I will ever make. They're all within that first video. Elaborating on what I said, what I brought up, why I said it, and all these things. It's very interesting. But this specific video today is inspired by a woman that I spoke to last night who has not slept in 7 months. She's the first woman I've spoken to first person I've spoken to who is experiencing this, who does not have a history of insomnia. It's very fascinating. My theories and my research confirm that this is very possible. No one else's theories or research confirm that this is possible because they are all morons. Because they refuse to look at the world as it is, and they instead look at the world as it is profitable, as it is conventional, and as it is socially acceptable to do so. If my contemporaries would simply observe reality as it is, they would see what I see, but they refuse to do so, and I believe the reasons have to do with momentum. There have been periods of American history where it became popular to see reality as it is, but those are the exception, not the rule. America itself, the New World, the United States of America, is the exception and not the rule. Simply the way it is. I wrote on this piece of paper in front of me, God sent me to the Insomniacs like sending Christ into hell. I wrote it because I believe it to be true. And I spoke to this woman, she actually believed it to be true too, which was really crazy to me. I was like, wow, you know, normally when I say this, that's the point where people kind of laugh and go, you're crazy, I get it. No, she didn't, I told her what I've been through. She didn't know how I survived that. She didn't know how I survived barely sleeping for my entire life before I finally started experiencing deep restful sleep when I was 19 years old on the carnivore diet the first time. Though my sleep remained inconsistent, not the highest quality, but more consistent than at any other point in my life for 5 years, from the age of 19 to 24. In the last 2 years I've spent recovering from my own incomplete understanding. God sent me to the Insomniacs like sending Christ into hell. What does that mean? What that means is that my wife might come down. If she comes down, I'll continue filming because my family is the most important thing in the world. And I really mean that. Without my family, I am nothing. Without my family, my plans will come to nothing. It is through family and because of family that I am alive. And this woman too, she told me that the only reason she has not committed suicide, I'm going to say that because Quebec, Canada right now is big into medical assistance in dying, assisted suicide. Which is disgusting to me because that is how they cover up their own lies. The lies that that they're here to help people, that the medical system is at all competent. It's such a great lie that they need to now kill people to preserve it. This medical system that all of you believe in so much. I have a cousin I very much respect, and She's upset that people don't have faith in doctors. I wonder what she says to medical assistants in dying. I don't know. If you're watching this, let me know. What do you say to that? To me, that's the reality. 4 hours that way? Or like that way? I don't know where north is right now. I probably should have that marked out on my house, but I don't yet. So, yeah, just a few hours away from me. They're just killing their patients. The reason she hasn't killed herself is because she has a daughter. I didn't kill myself because I would be a very, very poor example to my siblings. The oldest brother, I killed myself. That's what kind of example is that? No example at all. I also have my pride. I have my ego. I don't want to kill myself. So whatever in me wants me to kill myself can't be me. I labeled that the insomnia demon, and I told him that he was going to die with my boot on his neck. Now, God exists outside of time, and that's already happened, and it's already happening, and it became concrete the moment I decided it, because I think I was the first to look at what I was experiencing and not only believe my own experience, but to follow it to its logical conclusion. And so God has sent me to the Insomniacs like sending Christ into hell. But the human mind is such that it can make a hell of heaven or a heaven of hell. And I have made a heaven of what many would consider a living hell. I like to wrestle. I like a man who smiles when he fights, says Winston Churchill. Give me battles. Give me struggle. It's like I think of Little Wolf, Epic the Musical, and Legendary. It's like, I want to be legendary, and it's like, oh, it makes me smile and cry when I hear that, because that's how I felt as a boy, and boy, there's a price to pay for that. But I wouldn't wish my life on my worst enemy, but I also wouldn't want another one. What the fuck kind of man am I? Really, at this point, I wouldn't even wish away my tendency to insomnia, because then I'd be an imperfect barometer. Right now, I'm a perfect barometer for the mechanisms of life. Perfect. Anytime I fuck up, I lose the ability to sleep and I start actively dying in agonizing misery while my brain decays. And I have to rebuild. But that means I know how to rebuild. I know how to rebuild. I'm the only one on earth who does. And that feels good. I was telling my wife yesterday. She called me on the phone. We were talking. She was like, just kind of, we just had a baby and another baby. I have now 3 beautiful girls. And they'll make wonderful, wonderful wives. If they want to be, Call me Olympian Zeus. Not that I'm Christianized Olympian Zeus, because it's only for one woman, so you can't really call me Zeus, but this is crazy. So when I was at my graduation, Pentucket High School, 2017, the song they played at the graduation was I Can Go the Distance from Hercules. And when they played that song, clouds rolled in and thunder boomed. When the song ended, the clouds rolled away and the thunder stopped. And it didn't rain that day. That was it. I believe in the gods. I believe they're subordinate to the highest god. And I believe that Zeus himself watched over my graduation and let me know that if I could go the distance, I would find where I truly belonged. And, about 6 months later, I was in absolute fucking hell, being poisoned by UMass Amherst with soy they sprayed all over their soy-free allergen-sensitive food because, fuck me, I guess. And I was dying, and my brain is just recovered from that 9 years ago. I figured out how. I'd articulate precisely the methods, but I fear oversimplifying, for the wisdom is not articulated, but is contained within my body. For there is truly no method, there is only understanding, and there is only the appropriate treatment for the appropriate illness. And I say appropriate illness because you must conceptualize the illness appropriately before you can prescribe the appropriate treatment. And so God has sent me to the Insomniacs, like sending Christ into hell. Because no one believes her. No one's helping her. They're just giving her more drugs that don't work. I'll help her for free as much as I can. Maybe she'll have the ball. It's a little crude, but maybe she'll have the courage to come on here and give a testimony. It takes a lot to do that. To be called crazy by everyone. To be told that you're profiteering and that you're lying in order to get attention. When all you want to do is be a good example to your younger siblings and not succumb to the forces of evil through suicide, which is now the medical policy of Canada. That's why I'm taking Quebec. This is the World Domination series. I'm taking Quebec. And when I made the first video about that, people from Quebec commented and they said, please take over Quebec. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were going to mock me, but I didn't really care. I was encouraged. I've known I'm not crazy for a very long time. I've always known I'm not crazy, but the degree to which I've been gaslit has made me go to tremendous lengths to verify that in ways that cannot be undermined. Which is on my YouTube channel. You could try to undermine anything. Anyone could try to undermine anything. I don't care. Kill me. Kill me and invoke the wrath of whatever ultra-wealthy person develops insomnia next and realizes that you killed his only chance or his daughter's only chance at life. It's the benefit of being on the side of life, is that in order to have power, you need to be alive. And so anyone with a sense of intelligence or any power whatsoever is on my side. You gonna kill their only chance at life? That's all I want to do. That's all I ever wanted to do. That's why I'm going to take over the world. Because I've been put in a situation where I have to in order to guarantee life. And so life itself finds a way and is doing so through me. It's not terribly pleasant, but I have the quiet, unshakable feeling that it's what I was born for. I don't expect anyone to understand. I've reached out to Michaela Peterson numerous times, and she's probably busy or whatever. She's probably busy partying, drinking vodka. That's her prerogative. God bless her, because her example has certainly helped me and others. But the fundamental problem of solving this, not just coping, but solving this. Why do I say solving and not coping? Because to cope, for me, is to say, now that I can sleep, which I can right now, everything's fine. I did that before. I believe it led to the slow accumulation of iron in my mitochondria, in and around my mitochondria, which created the worst 2 years of my fucking life. But here's the secret that I told my wife yesterday. If you aim for something high enough, then the mere fact that they can't stop you gives you a steady sense of dopamine. What do I mean by that? So, I think the most miserable people on earth are those who try to be happy every single day. You know, their glass of wine at the end of the day, their 30 minutes of smoking weed, maybe even sex, maybe even with someone they love. Maybe even jujitsu and dominating people on the mat. Most miserable people on earth are those who want to be happy every single day. Why is that? Because you spend the entire day anticipating something that when it comes was not as good as you anticipated it to be. And the time frame is all off. The human mind does not process things linearly. It doesn't. We forget things. We forget pains. We forget struggle. We forget disappointment. And so I build that forgetfulness into the systems that I use to condition my own mind. I don't even think I did this. I think this is just my ancestors and the collective unconscious and myself. I mean, after I uploaded my video yesterday, I saw a video by Alan Watts from After School, or a speech from Alan Watts illustrated by After School. It's great. And he said, "If I am my feet, I am also the shining sun." And so I am. Who can say where it begins or where it ends? Who even wants to? I do, because I enjoy this thing we call life. But where of what one cannot speak, one ought to remain silent. So I told my wife, I said, you gotta aim for longer time scales. I want to experience things the gods themselves would be jealous of. I want to make the gods jealous. I told you I believe in them. I believe in one God above all. But I believe in the gods. Gone back and forth on that over my lifetime, but I believe in the gods. I want to make them jealous. And so I told my wife, remember when we met in Virginia? That week we spent together? That would make the gods themselves jealous. And you know, if I only get 1 or 2 more weeks with you like that in my entire life, then I can live in those weeks every single day. And I can know that another one's coming. And so, all the suffering, all the everything that comes, it just fuels me. Because I'm reaching that peak. The heroin addicts are the ones who want to feel good every day. I don't need to. I don't need to experience God every single day. I already am. And if I felt like I needed to make myself feel like I was in some ephemeral sense, I'd be a heroin or a meth addict or something. And so I would be incapable of experiencing God the way that I do. Here's a moment from a jiu-jitsu tournament I had 3 years ago, before this latest bout of absolute pain and misery. And some guy armbarred me. It's a very, very skilled jiu-jitsu athlete. It's a beautiful armbar. I faced him again in the no-gi. That was in the gi. I faced him again in no-gi. I was out of shape. I was 215 pounds. I'm like 180 right now. I was 215 pounds. I vomited before the match. I was just dying. But I was like, I'm gonna get this guy. Just him. Just him. I'm gonna get him. Because he got me and I'm gonna get him. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. And I did. I snapped him down. Entered the eye of the tiger, and I fucking rear naked choked the fucking... I can still feel what that felt like. I still feel it. I can think of it. Every single day. That peak. You can't live on the peak of the mountain, but you can reach it. You can live in the knowledge that you reached it and that you will reach it again every single day. So what's the peak? The peak is self-belief. It's giving your children self-belief. It's giving self-belief to your family, to the human race. And so I say, kill me. I will only become stronger than you can ever imagine. And you'll also get another tyrant who's absolutely fucking psycho. Like, look, guys. If I'm emerging from the collective unconscious now, and someone were to Charlie Kirk me, who do you think comes next? I just want to help people, man. The guy who comes next is the guy who just wants to make you pay for killing the guy who just wanted to help people. I just had a vision of thousands of people impaled. You know, maybe they killed the guy before Vlad the Impaler. And then that's how you get Vlad the Impaler, I think, is you kill me. Kill me, you get impaled. If you get off that easy. Do my eyes falter and does my voice stutter? Or do you see the truth in front of you if you are capable of it? Fascinating world we live in, ain't it? You know, I think meditation is fundamentally the first martial art, because Chael Sonnen, one of the most skilled martial artists I've ever seen in my entire life, lacked self-belief. That's why he was never able to win a world championship. He lacked self-belief. And so I start with self-belief in my martial arts training. And I build. I'm a builder. It's what I do, you know? So God sent me to the Insomniacs like sending Christ into hell. I'm at the point in my business where I don't need to help Insomniacs to succeed. I don't. I could succeed without helping Insomniacs. And so after I made my video yesterday, God sends me this woman to remind me of my purpose. Insomnia is the greatest predictor of suicide. And so to those who support medically assisted death, I say I am coming. Not to hurt you, to liberate you, to give you high wages, to enable you to work fewer hours so you can educate yourself and your children, to lead with industry and example, Because it is the suffering of my fellow man that is so similar to my own. I can't help myself without helping you. And I can't help you without the truth. And I can't guarantee the truth unless I take over this world that is so opposed to it that it would kill those who it should help. And call it made. I wonder how they treat their maids, those who passed that bill. I didn't want to make this video. I didn't know what I was going to say. I don't want to make a video tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to say then. But when I turn on the camera and I start talking, the truth comes out, and it keeps on coming. Because this is the truth of my heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, in his true heart, so he is. We are what we pretend to be, and so therefore we must be very careful about what we pretend to be. I've already achieved world domination, though these things take time to fully realize themselves. A man conquers the world by mastering himself. And to do that, you must know yourself. And as Alan Watts said, he's like, how much can you know about yourself if you don't even operate the workings of your own body? He hadn't met me. I breathe by force of will. I've felt that touch of death, which takes the breath. And in that state, I said, up yours. I'm Devin fucking Young, and you will die with my boot on your neck. I didn't even plan that breath. It's just the habit I've baked into myself that keeps me centered. That's the thought, which is tied to action, muscular tension in the body, as all thoughts are. That brought me back from what can truly be considered the land of the dead. Now I'm being poetic, but not as poetic as you think I'm being. Those who know, and those who don't know, pray you never will. The fact that I can speak of this with this much level-headed conviction should tell everyone all they need to know. But there are those who don't want to know. They'd rather pretend things are hunky-dory. You know, Marcus Aurelius said, if you bite into a lemon, spit it out. If you step on a thorn, pull it out. Do not ask yourself why such things are so, and so I don't. But I know the goodness in me comes from that part of me that sees evil and understands that it is my purpose, my pleasure, my privilege to dominate it as no man has before. You know, make the gods themselves jealous. What else am I here for? What else could fuel me? And so, this woman who I spoke to, who worries that she has fatal insomnia, a misunderstood term. Me, who worries that speaking about this will get me banned from the internet in a society that claims it wants the truth. You know, you go into churches and why? There's an icon of a crucified God. Or at least a bunch of people singing his praises. He's the way, the truth, and the life. So why are we all so opposed to those three things? Because of inertia. It's a property of matter. We exist in the material world. The world didn't change with the incarnation of God. It merely became possible for change. And so people mistook the language of possibility for the actuality of certainty. And that's why we're in this bullshit reality right now. It's not bullshit. I actually like this reality, but the way that people interact with it is absolutely bullshit. And that's why God sent me to the Insomniacs. I've got a lot of work to do. I am and remain your humble servant, Devin Young.